Before I go to the main reason for this video, let me tell you a story. About 5 years ago, I started writing Python programs. It was also the beginning of my PhD, so I was looking to get started as fast as possible, mostly because I had only 3 years to complete my research. One of the major challenges I had at the time was choosing an integrated development environment, IDE for short, for writing my Python codes. An IDE is a software application that provides comprehensive facilities to computer programmers for software development. An IDE normally consists of source code editor, build automation tools, and a debugger. The official Python website provides the Python IDE, or the Integrated Development and Learning Environment. This might be useful at the beginning, but soon you find out that there are many features that are missing in this IDE. Because of this, I cycled through a lot of options. Of course, I started with the Python IDE. I used Spider, provided by Anaconda, for a while. And while it was a great editor and development environment, it was heavy, took time to load, and lacked a vision-friendly theme at the time. It was also difficult to work with multiple Python versions and virtual environments, which meant it had a bad integration with the terminal. One thing I realized is that the better you become in programming, the more control you want to have on your tools. So for this reason, Spider was not the most ideal working environment for me. Enter Sublime Text. Sublime Text, while not an IDE, is probably one of the best editors I have used in my programming experience. It has a good interface, it is lightweight, customizable, and most of all, easy and useful key mappings. Writing code in Sublime Text was a joy. It saved me a lot of time because I could edit and refactor my code in quick and visually pleasing ways. In fact, I still use Sublime Text key mapping still did. But like Oliver Twist, a man always asks for more. And before I settled for VSCode, I also tried shortly Python for Visual Studio, Atom Editor, PyCharm, and the almighty Vim. I still think I want to use Vim in the future, but that is a video for another day. None of this satisfied my expectations and requirements. And this brings me to Visual Studio Code, which I use presently. Sincerely, I have not seen anything quite like Visual Studio Code or VS Code in a while. It is open source, cross-platform. It has awesome UI and UX, highly and easily customizable, excellent terminal integration, Git integration, and works for all kinds of programming languages. This makes it an all-round IDE and super useful too, and it keeps improving. This makes me recommend VS Code for Python beginners because of how easy it is to use. In fact, I made a video about getting started in Python with VS Code and Anaconda. You can check on one of the cards at the top of this video to see that video. So after installing VS Code and Anaconda, these are the settings that I recommend you make in VS Code environments to have a good setup. First, you need to install a Python support extension. So here I have a document and I have my Python environment here, and I already installed VS Code, and you can see this is an Anaconda environment. And of course you need internet connection to make the settings. So the first thing is to install a Python support extension. So how do you do that is to just type Python here. So on the left side of your VS Code, you have these icons, Explorer to see your files, and Search to search, and this is a Git icon for source control, debug, and extensions. So you want to click the extensions here and type Python here. And the first one should be the Python extension for Visual Studio Code. This is a needed extension which is rich in support for Python language, incorporates debugging, IntelliSense, Jupyter Notebook, unit tests, and snippets all in one. It also helps you to choose different virtual environments for your workspace, allowing you to switch seamlessly between each one. So in my environment here, I have many Anaconda and Python environments, and I can choose between each one or switch seamlessly in the case. So you can see that depending on the environment I choose, I get this error because now in this environment I don't have this PyLint and PyCode style installed. So let's go back to here. This is the Python environment I want to use. And I mean, once you have this, then you can just install with a click of a button here. And so when you have that, the next thing I recommend you do is to install the Keymapping extension. I said earlier that I used Sublime Text for a while, and I really loved the Keymapping in Sublime Text, and it helps me to be able to edit my code or refactor my code much more faster and easily. And so I'm going to type Sublime Text here. And you see here already installed. If it's not installed, you just click this install button. Of course, you need to learn how to use this Keymapping, but I just want to show you, I mean, a few examples of how I use this. So in this case, I have these two classes, and this base class and a parent class. So I want to change the name of the base class, and at the same time, which means that I have to change the name that I'm using in this dog class. Sublime Text allows me to edit both of these names at the same time. I just use Ctrl D there. So maybe I want to change this to cars or something like that. It doesn't make sense, but yeah, I can change it. And I want to change it back. This is one way that Sublime Text Keymappings help you to format. And suppose I want to move a block of code. All I need to do is press Ctrl Shift direction up or down, and I can move this block of code down here. I can move it up here. And so there's so many keymappings also that Sublime Text allows you to be able to do. So the next setting that you actually need is a formatter. You know, when you start debugging codes, you realize that being able to easily read and understand the code saves you time that you will spend in finding errors in your code. So it is good practice to format your code in certain ways. There are many formatters for Python, but I will recommend Black. I will recommend Black because it is known as an uncompromising and rigid formatter. It actually forces you to use a particular formatting style. So people might not like this, but I think adopting this means you have one less thing to worry about while writing Python codes. You will appreciate this more when you start working in a team, as your code will be more readable and agree with most Python code styles. So how do you install Black? Actually, I've already installed it in my system, but what you need to do here is press Ctrl Shift P, and you can do two things here. You can use the Open Settings UI, or you can use the JSON. A JSON is a more like a textual setting. So these are the settings I have for my environment, and you can see Python formatting provider Black. So I chose Black here, and this is a Black specific Python formatting. So each line length should be 79, and every time I format, Black makes sure that each of the lines that I have is at most 79. So say I move this here, this is the 79th line, and maybe I do some kind of wrong formatting here, and there are so many things. Also, let's add more to this. Let's add more to this line so that it is longer. So this is badly formatted code, but I can apply the formatting by pressing Ctrl Shift I. And now you see that it is well formatted, and in this case print, and it makes sure that this line is shorter than 79. So this is why you need a formatter. There are so many other formatters actually, but I recommend Black in this case. And the last thing that I think you really need is Linting. Linting is the automated checking of your source code for programmatic and stylistic errors. A lint tool is a basic static code analyzer. Installing a linter will help you to reduce errors and improve the overall quality of your code. With a linter enabled in VS Code, you can easily see your mistakes even before running the code. Let us deliberately make a mistake here. I will do this and save. And you can see this red squiggle here, and it's the work of the PyLint. It tells me that invalid syntax and expected an indented block by code style. So that is the work of the PyLinting. So in order to enable this, we can also do the same thing here in our settings file. you choose Python, Linting, Pico style enabled. And this is that I'm choosing Pico style as my Linting tool. And you will realize that if I change my environment here, let me change environment to something else, it complains that linter is not installed, PyLint is not installed, because I already chose Pico style here, and Pico style is also not installed. So which means in this environment, the VS Code is not able to use the PyLinting for my code. So I would need to install that. Once it shows this error, I just say install, and it installs. And I can say also install the Pico style, and it's done. So let's see if it shows the error. You can see the error right there. So these are the simple settings I think you need for your Python environment. And I'm sure there are more things that you might want to do, but if you have this down, then you would have less things to worry about while you start coding. And that's it. If you like the information or the material in this video, please do give a like, give a thumbs up. And if you don't, give a thumbs up also. And I do this every week, so I would appreciate if you can smash the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you get updates from me every time I release a new video. And if you think there's a friend who would really need this, share with them also. Until next time, see you.